This week in 999 Lifesavers, a prized possession becomes a floating inferno.
One of the cylinders exploded, came past me like a rocket and just...
Good afternoon. There's to be a wide-ranging inquiry into the whole BSE crisis. The government announced the move today amid growing confusion over the latest scare involving cattle bones. And the Agriculture Minister, Jack Cunningham, now says the ban on beef on the bone won't be introduced until the new year because he must first consult the industry.
As the Agriculture Minister went to brief the Cabinet today, he confirmed the ban has not formally come into effect. So beef on the bone was still on sale at Smithfield Market. Restrictions won't be in place until after consultations with industry and consumers. The Minister tried to play down the scale of the problem.
Already 95% of beef is sold with the bones removed. We're talking about 5% of retail beef here, and that is a problem we should be able to manage. And I'm sorry that some of the reaction to what I announced yesterday has been exaggerated.
But for farmers already protesting about imports of Irish beef, the latest ban is another blow. There have been mass demonstrations on the Isle of Anglesey. A blow too for the meat trade. Colin Byford and his son George run a small abattoir in the Midlands supplying butchers' shops. They're waiting to see how consumers react. This delivery is for George Deadman. He has £3,000 worth of beef orders for Christmas, 10% of it on the bone.
I think my days as a traditional butcher are seriously numbered, unless, the general public have the faith in their butcher.
The meat industry now has to wait to see what effect the ban has on consumer confidence. Lauren Taylor, ITN.
Winnie Mandela finally went into the witness box in South Africa today and furiously denied all accusations of involvement in kidnappings, beatings and murders. Her long-awaited testimony to the Truth Commission contradicts evidence from more than 30 witnesses.
Surrounded by bodyguards after a threat to blow her up, this was Winnie Mandela's day of reckoning. The commission, led by Archbishop Desmond Tutu, wants the truth and is doing everything to get it. This was her chance to tell it.
Thank you.
For 8 days, witnesses have accused her of ordering killings. From the start, she denied everything.
That is ludicrous and the worst lunacy.
She denied branding people, police informers, and having them murdered.
That is ridiculous.
She was questioned about the killing of the teenage activist Stompie Sepe. One man had alleged that Winnie herself had stabbed the boy because he was an informer. This is not a court of law. It will not judge Winnie Mandela guilty or innocent. But the millions of South Africans following this hearing will. And upon that will depend Mrs. Mandela's political future. Bill Neely, ITN, Johannesburg.
10,000 firefighters battling the Australian bushfires were told the grim news today the worst is yet to come. More than 170 fires are still burning out of control in the state of New South Wales, and weather forecasters say more high temperatures and strong winds are imminent. Finally, the Prince of Wales paid a visit today to the headquarters of the Big Issue magazine and got a surprise. One of the magazine's sellers, who's homeless, calmly told him they were at school together. They settled into a chat about life at the prep school more than 40 years ago. Clive Harold's father had been a millionaire who then lost everything. And on the early evening news, we'll be speaking to the Prince's old school chum. And allegations today that the Harrods boss tried to bribe his rival Tiny Rowland, the allegation from Tiny Rowland himself. Join me for the early evening news, 5:40.
Good afternoon, I'm Alistair Stewart. This is London Today. London's top cop wants the power to sack corrupt officers on the spot. Metropolitan Police Commissioner Sir Paul Condon told MPs it's harder to get rid of such officers now than it was 20 years ago.
This morning, the chief of the Metropolitan Police spoke of a losing battle against experienced, cunning and devious criminals operating from within his own police force.
The knowledge and the survival cunning of criminals who serve as police officers actually makes it very difficult for the criminal system.
He told MPs who are investigating police disciplinary and complaints procedures that less than 1% or up to 250 officers are involved. but that in recent years there have been so many moves to protect officers under investigation that it's becoming increasingly difficult to discipline those who are corrupt.
I believe I'm actually faced with a disciplinary system which has as many hurdles, if not more, to clear than convicting an officer in a criminal court.
The solution, he said, was the power of immediate dismissal and less legal involvement in disciplinary proceedings. Deputy Commissioner Brian Hayes said Police Federation lawyers were abusing the system to protect bad apples.
We are often very delayed in learning which witnesses they want. Officers are advised to say nothing at interview.
The Commissioner also told the Select Committee that he would have no objection to the establishment of a new independent police complaints authority, a matter that is already under consideration by the government. At Westminster, this is Claire Rucastle for London Today.
The chairman of the Royal Opera House, Lord Chadlington, has resigned, with the whole board offering to do the same. He said it was a matter of honour. A damning parliamentary report on the Opera House yesterday urged him and others to quit. Finally, more on how Prince Charles met some of London's homeless people and came face to face with an old classmate. The Prince was visiting the offices of the Big Issue newspaper when he came across a former friend who's fallen on hard times.
Sitting down with the homeless, Prince Charles this morning at the London headquarters of the Big Issue magazine. A lifeline to the people who sell it, including one man, Clive Harold, who used to go to school with the Prince. As 5-year-olds, they'd played football together, and just 10 years ago, Mr. Harold claims he was a successful author and city dealer. But then his life collapsed, leaving him on the streets.
It was, how did you end up the way you are? And I said, well, life has its twists and turns. As you well know, the moment I said it, I thought, oh, God, you know, I shouldn't have said. But he said, yes, I do know.
When he was 5, the Prince was a pupil at the exclusive Hill House Prep School in Knightsbridge. Naturally, today, he had some difficulty remembering the former classmate who's fallen on such hard times.
I said to him, I know you'll remember me. It was only 44 years ago. We were in a crocodile, going down to play football. He said, no, actually, I don't.
An unexpected reunion for the Prince. This is Gareth Furby for London Today.
And that's it for now, but join Anna Maria and me for London Tonight and meet the woman happy to be a dummy double for 007, turning a licence to kill into a licence to stand still. That's at 6, but until then, a very good afternoon to you.
Carlton weather, sponsored by Sea France, Dover-Calais Ferries.
Hello, now it's been a case of blue skies and sunshine for most of us so far this